Hi everyone, I'd like to take you on a quick tour of my completely organic garden. And it hasn't done so well in the last few years because of this canopy. We have lots of black walnuts and some ailanthus thrown in there, a couple of maple trees, and it's just growing bigger and bigger, and the garden is losing sunlight. Over here is due west, that's where the sun sets. And the garden gets maybe 5 to 6 hours. It used to be in front of the kitchen right here, and now it's a flower garden. And of course, as you can see, here it is, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it's shaded, but the flowers do very well. So what I've done this year is I've added straw, which is wonderful because I can come in here in my flip-flops and not get filthy dirty feet, and I can kneel without a filthy dirty knee. I also added goat manure this year. Here's some cucumbers. I started using row covers several years ago, and I realized that they work great even now in June because you can put out small seedlings, and the extra warmth from the row cover really makes them take off. They grow like crazy. It also helps protect them from the critters. Here's another pepper. There's a basil. This is sheep sorrel. It's a Scottish heirloom variety, and if you've never had it, be forewarned, it's very tangy, but I think it's like cilantro. It's either a love or a hate relationship. There's some early wonder beets growing very nicely right there. Here's some butter crunch lettuce. This great big mess you see right here is last year's Swiss chard. Early this spring we were able to get quite a few side dishes of Swiss chard from it, but I'm going to let it go to seed to save the seeds, because if we end up in the same mess next year, or if this nonsense doesn't stop, I just decided I'm going to go back to saving my seeds just in case. I used to do it years ago, but then there are so many great companies out there making heirloom fertile seeds that I kind of laxed, but now it's time to get that skill back. These are purple Cherokee tomatoes. This is an accidental spaghetti squash. These are called Abe Lincoln, these tomatoes here. I'm terrible. I know what I have when I'm planting it from seed in the house, and I'm nurturing it as a baby, and then when I put it out in the garden, I forget what it is, and I have to wait until the fruit comes out before I know what it is. This year I decided to dabble in corn again. It's been many years since I've done that. When we have a cold spring, I believe the chipmunks go into hyperdrive seed saving mode, and when you put these out, including the beans, they'll rip them right up and toss aside the plant and take the seed back into their hoard. This is called asparagus bean. The pod is 1.5 to 2 feet long. A friend gave those to me. I can't wait to see how they come out. Underneath this row cover are my carrots. I've been growing them in this spot for years, and they absolutely love it. And it's very warm under there, but I'm not going to worry about it. They're well watered, and they should be fine. These are Danvers half long. Carrots take a long time, but once you pull that root out of the ground, and it is so beautiful and yellow, it's worth it. This is rutabaga. Oops. This under here is an heirloom mustard with a beautiful color. It's great steamed, salt and butter. Under here is arugula that needs to be eaten soon. And this is a bok choy. This darker row cover is for shade, for extending the season of cool weather vegetables. It does get warm under there, but the shade really does help. And even though they're in hoop houses, it's not detrimental to the plant. This is my good friend and time saver, the Rain King. It's a vintage garden water sprinkler, and I picked it up at a vintage emporium. But if you ever get one of these, pay close attention to the angle of the sprayer and make sure it's open to the right aperture, because if the water pressure doesn't come through correctly, this will not lift and it won't spin. It's almost like a flywheel. Over here I have green and purple beans, and you might have noticed that I put toilet paper rolls when I put in the seedling, and that is to stop the cutworms at night from cutting the plant down like a little tree. I also use paper towel rolls too. Oh, let's not forget the white russet potatoes. And I use the straw method, and I just piled it up real deep and put the cut up eyes underneath, and it took a while, but they're doing very, very well right now. Let's see, over here, I think that's a yellow crookneck. And we have some more cucumbers coming up. Those are market more. Underneath the shade netting is lettuce that's been in here since March, and we're still eating it. And it's black-seeded Simpson and butter crunch. And these shade hoop houses really, really extend the season. There's some early wonder beets. I believe these are bright light beets, and we have to start eating the greens because it looks like it's getting ready to bolt. Speaking of saving seeds, letting the radish from early spring go to seed also. So there you have it. That's my garden. And no garden is complete without a Homer bucket. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for joining me.